layers, where laughter echoes, secrets spill over drinks, and strangers become friends. But what if some stories stayed behind? Stories so unsettling, they're only whispered about when the lights go out. Think back to your last night out. Did you notice anything strange? A flicker in the corner of your eye? A sound that didn't belong? Tonight, we're diving into 3 terrifying true stories that might make you think twice about staying late at the bar. Not every customer leaves when the night ends. Our first story takes us to a small bar in rural Georgia. Every night, the staff followed a strange tradition. They left a shot of whiskey on the corner table. No one ever sat there. Not the regulars, not the staff. That table belonged to Charlie. Charlie was a regular who never really left. Decades ago, he was found slumped in that booth, his drink still in hand. Since then, strange things kept happening. Whiskey glasses tipped over, chairs scraped across the floor, even when the bar was empty. And sometimes, staff saw shadows in the corner booth, just out of the corner of their eye. But one night, a new hire named Lucas thought it was all just a silly ghost story. He skipped the whiskey offering, and that's when things went horribly wrong. All at once, every glass on the counter exploded, shards flying like shrapnel. The jukebox turned over, screeching static, and when Lucas saw it, in the corner booth sat a figure, perfectly still. Its face was pale and smooth, like skin stretched too tight. No eyes, no mouth. Just watching. Lucas quit that night. The next morning, the owner found the whiskey glass smashed and one word carved deep into the table. Mine. To this day, no one dares sit at that table. Would you? So, the lesson here. Always leave a drink for the spirits. They don't like being ignored. Our second story takes us to the French Quarter, where history lingers, and sometimes it lingers too long. One quiet Tuesday night, Amanda, a bartender, was closing up when she heard it. Soft crying coming from the corner booth. Thinking it was a guest, she walked over to check, but the booth was empty. She tried to shake it off, but the crying came back, louder this time, closer. It sounded like it was coming from right behind her. Amanda turned, but no one was there. Then she caught something in the mirror. In the reflection, a pale woman stared back at her. Tears streamed down her face, her hollow eyes locking onto Amanda. Her lips trembled in a silent scream, but no sound came out. Amanda spun around, but the bar stool was empty. Over the next week, more staff reported seeing her too. Always crying, always staring. Eventually, they learned her story. Decades ago, a woman had been stood up by her fiancé at that very bar. Heartbroken, she drank too much and wandered to the river outside, where she drowned. Now, she returns, still waiting for a date that will never come. Be honest, who's avoiding mirrors tonight? Tell me in the comments. I might include your story next. Our final story is the strangest one yet. It happened in a tiny bar in the Midwest, where Jake, a bartender, was used to seeing odd late-night customers. But one stormy night, just before midnight, a man walked in. He was soaked to the bone, wearing an old-fashioned suit that looked decades out of place. He sat at the bar, ordered a whiskey, and said nothing. Jake tried to make small talk, but the man didn't respond. He just stared, with dark, unblinking eyes. Then Jake noticed something strange. The clock on the wall stayed frozen at 12:15, its second hand twitching but never moving forward. Outside, the rain hung mid-fall, droplets suspended in the air like time itself had stopped. And no matter how much the man drank, his whiskey glass stayed full. Finally, Jake asked, "Are you all right?" The man looked at him and said, "It's almost time." Before Jake could ask what he meant, the man stood up and walked out, right through the locked door. The store roared to life again. The clock ticked forward, and Jake's phone buzzed with a news alert. A car crash had just been reported outside the bar. The victim? A man matching Jake's customer's description, down to the old-fashioned suit. But here's the eerie part. The crash happened at 12:15, an hour before Jake even saw him. So, how do you even handle a ghostly dine and dash asking for a friend? Bars aren't just places for good times. Sometimes they're the perfect setting for something darker. Next time you're alone at the bar, listen carefully. Is it just the creak of the floorboards? Or is someone or something standing right behind you? Have you ever had a creepy experience at a bar? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if these tales gave you chills, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You never know. The next story might be yours. Until next time, stay safe and stay scared.